Welcome to Security Brief Nigeria. In today's video, we'll discuss the 5 times Nigeria intervened against coup in other countries. Please, if you are new here, kindly subscribe to our channel. The news in details. The first country in our list is Tanzania. On Thursday, April 9th, 1964, soundless footage of President Julius Nyerere of Tanganyika welcoming officers and women of the 3rd Battalion of the Nigerian Army when they paraded for him at State House in Dar es Salaam. The Nigerian troops took the place of 600 British Marine commandos who were called in to keep the peace following the Tanganyika Army mutiny in January. President Nyerere inspected a Nigerian guard of honor and afterward took the salute at the march part, led by the battalion's commanding officer, Lieutenant Colonel Yakubu Pan. Accompanying Mr. Nyerere were the Tanganyika Vice President, Mr. Rashidi Kawawa, the Tanganyika Minister for External Affairs and Defense, Mr. Oscar Kambona, and the Nigerian High Commissioner, Mr. N.A. Martin. Source gathered from news Reuters noted on April 26, 1964, Tanganyika joined with the People's Republic of Zanzibar and the Pamba to form the United Republic of Tanganyika and Zanzibar. The union was influenced by Julius Nyerere's principles of Ujamaa, a key component of which stressed the need for territorial nationalism. The country was renamed Tanzania within a year of the union. So Nigeria has done their part in the aspect of keeping peace in Tanzania. So the second one we have is that of the second country is Sao Tome and Principe. Unfortunately, I can't find my old content about Sao Tome, but let me tell you about my abiding memory. There was a coup in Sao Tome, and President Obasanjo gave the coupiers a deadline to surrender. The coupiers surrendered, and my abiding memory is of Nigeria 001 flying into Sao Tome and Obasanjo coming down the step while holding the hand of the Sao Tomean president. The Sao Tomean president had sought refuge in Nigeria. So it was very, very interesting. So Nigeria is trying to convince the leader of the military coup in neighboring Sao Tome and Principe to return power to civilians. The two countries share ownership of rich oil reserves in the Gulf of Guinea. So Nigeria urges Sao Tome and Principe coup leader to return power to civilians. Rebel soldiers in Sao Tome and Principe says Nigerian President Olusegun Obasanjo spoke with their leader, Major Fernando Pereira, on Thursday about arranging for the visit of Nigerian envoy. The coup took place earlier Wednesday as Sao Tome President Frederick de Menezes was in Nigeria attending an economic summit. Mr. Obasanjo addressed the summit later on Wednesday and added his voice to mounting international condemnation of the coup. May I express our heartfelt support for the president of Sao Tome and Principe, who is here with us, he said. In his absence, some members of the armed forces attempted to seize power. We condemn such acts in the strongest terms possible, and we advise the military adventurers to call off this dangerous action and hand over power to the elected president. Nigeria has also warned the coup leaders against arming any of its citizens. In the Sao Tome capital, most civilians returned to normal activities on Thursday. The rebellious soldiers have also given assurances they will not arm senior government officials. They say they are holding the officials in an air-conditioned room. Machine gun wielding mutineers met to as resistance Wednesday when they took over all key government buildings as well as the airport. The mutineers says they acted to save the tiny island states from social and economic decline. They accuse the current elected leadership of being elitist and corrupt. Sao Tome and Principe is one of the world's poorest countries, but studies suggest it may have vast oil deposits in its territorial water. Many foreign oil companies have already expressed interest in developing several oil blocks jointly signed by Sao Tome and Nigeria. The start of international bidding has sharpened political rivalries. Sao Tome elected government has insisted it needs international help to protect its oil interests. It has even invited the United States to set up a naval base on the island. The third country that Nigeria has helped in coup is Equatorial Guinea, known as Malabo Azonga. So it was an exciting morning, and I was trying to figure out what's happening. Many things were happening in Equatorial Guinea in different places at the same time, and I was monitoring BBC World Service and Nigerian media to try and figure out what the hell was happening in Equatorial Guinea, Malabo. First thing I got out was Nigeria ordered NSA's Aradu to Equatorial Guinea to go and protect the country. It seems the order came from President Obasanjo himself. Two, there were rumors of coup or attempted coup in Equatorial Guinea and some soldiers had been arrested. Three, some people had been arrested in Zimbabwean airport. It seems like President Mugabe had been informed about it and it had called President Obasanjo and Mbeki, the BBC said that Simon Mand was one of the people that were arrested. Some other people had been arrested in South Africa. The fifth thing was that there were rumors of an investigation in the UK, but nobody had been arrested. How were all these things connected? I will tell you. Equatorial Guinea was a poor country near Calabar. If you pass through Calabar IC, you will see Equatorial Guinea by your right, while Cameroon by your left, following the sea. The country is actually split into two parts. Bioko, which is an island in the Atlantic Ocean, not far from Calabar and Cameroon, and Rio Muni, which is one of the mainland and border Cameroon and the Atlantic Ocean. Back in the 1980s, Nigeria often joked that the Nigerian government should invade Equatorial Guinea and make it the 20th state. Equatorial Guinea was small, poor, and there were many Nigerians in the country. I told you about what happened in 1987. Nigerian military intelligence discovered that South Africans were working on a project in Equatorial Guinea, and the government demanded that the Equatorial Guineans should expel the South Africans. The Admiral Ihomu made a strong statement, and this inspired Vanguard newspaper to write a fantastic fictional article about a war between Nigeria and South Africa. Anyway, Babangida sent General Ike Nwachukwu to talk to the Guineans and the South Africans were expelled. Let's look at the oil in Equatorial Guinea. Equatorial Guinea, which had been a small and poor country, discovered its oil in 1999. and it suddenly became rich. Equatorial Guinea and Nigeria signed an agreement on how they would divide the oil. In the issue in 2004, beg your pardon, which bring us to the main issue. A group of British businessmen, including Mark Thatcher, son of former British Prime Minister Baroness Margaret Thatcher, decided that they wanted Equatorial Guinea's oil money. They hired some mercenaries led by Simon Ma, which was previously arrested, and planned to stage a coup in order to take over the country. They also bribed some Equatorial Guinean soldiers to assist them. Simon Mann was a former British soldier who created a mercenary company after retiring from service. He went to South Africa and hired some South African mercenaries to take part in the coup. They flew to Zimbabwe to get more men and equipment, and that's what Zimbabwean security discovered, that they were armed. The mercenaries were arrested. The Zimbabwean discovered that it was a part of a coup plot, and Mugabe called Obasanjo and Beki. President Olusegun Obasanjo ordered the Nigerian Navy flagship NNA's Aradu to Equatorial Guinea to protect the island. Nigerian soldiers were also sent there. Some of the mercenaries that were in South Africans were also arrested. The Equatorial Guineans also arrested the soldiers that were going to take part in the coup. The mercenaries in Zimbabwe and South Africans were eventually extradited to Equatorial Guinea to stand trial. Simon Ma was jailed. All of this happened in 2004. Simon Ma gave an interview in which he claimed that senior British figure knew about the coup plot. The British media also conducted investigation that shows that M16 and the CIA knew about the coup plot beforehand but decided to do nothing. Years later, Simon Ma was pardoned by the president of Equatorial Guinea. He had been healed and set free. Simon Ma has died today at the age of 72. So I have another bonus that I can give you, that Nigeria too also help in Gambia. So you need to understand that. Okay. So Nigeria is also help in Gambia. But let's not take that serious. Let's take the fifth one here, because talk about the fifth one. I don't want to add the bonus. Maybe by the end of the video. So on December 7th, when it comes to how Nigeria intervened in Benin Republic military coup. On December 7th, 2025, several soldiers of the Benin Armed Forces led by Lieutenant Colonel Pascal Tigri announced the overthrow of Beninese President Patrice Talon on national television, following an attack on Talon's residence in Cotonou and the residences of other top-ranking military officials. The Beninese foreign minister sent a note verbal to the Nigerian Foreign Ministry requesting for aid support, and then President Talon sent a direct request to President Tinubu for ground troops. The Beninese Republic Guard had already repelled the coupists, but the government felt that innocent civilians would have been negatively affected if Beninese forces had fought directly with the coupists. So they activated ECOWAS agreement and requested for aid support from Nigeria and Côte d'Ivoire, which is Ivory Coast. The coupists had retreated to a military base that had armored vehicles, so Nigerian and Ivory Coast fighter jet attacked the armored vehicles. Ivorian special forces also entered Benin to assist in dealing with the coupists. So, lastly, let me add this bonus: how Nigeria intervened in Gambia. Colonel Lawan Wadabe did not like General Abacha. He was an IBB boy. However, Wadabe was from a well-connected family, and so Abacha was trying to bring him closer so that he could use his connection. Wadabe was unhappy about this. There was a coup in the Gambia, and Sadauda Jawara was overthrown. Wadabe thought that this was a great opportunity to get closer to the Americans. His contact in the US government had asked him for a Nigerian intervention. He had presented the idea to General Abacha, and Abacha had agreed. Sabada Jawara was on a ship in the Atlantic, and the idea was that Nigerian troops would invade Gambia, remove Jame, and reinstall Sadauda Jawara as democratically elected president. Wadabe even arranged for Abacha and Clinton to speak on the phone. However, Abacha did not go through with the deal. This greatly embarrassed Wadabe. He did not know how to explain it to his contact in the US government. It is one of the reasons why he decided not to have anything to do with Abacha. Abacha was trying to bring Wadabe closer to him, but the Abacha boy were trying to remove Wadabe. So Wadabe helped the Abacha boy to achieve their aim, and he was posted out of the country. Thank you for watching. I believe I have given you the 5 countries that Nigeria has intervened against coup in other country. Okay, and I've even given you the bonus one, which is Gambia. So if you find this video interesting, please share this video, like this video, and drop your comment. But my comment is that before you drop your, let me drop my own. It is a shame that Nigeria cannot solve a lesser terrorism issue that has been disturbing this nation for decades, which has taken the lives of many civilians and many gallant military officers. But they send dozens of fighters and Air Force jets to foil coup attempts in other African countries. That's hypocrisy at its peak. Let me also hear your own comments. Please don't forget to subscribe. See you in our next video. Bye for now.